Welcome to AI-deas, our channel for deep dives into really fascinating content. And we're coming to you, as always, under the Good Business Podcast umbrella, hosted by the PHINMA-DLSU Center for Business and Society.
That's right. And as always, our mission here is all about exploring business as a force for good.
Exactly. And to be totally transparent with our listeners, this deep dive is a bit special. It's actually been generated with the help of AI technology using Notebook LM. Pretty cool, huh?
Absolutely. It lets us really dig deep into some really interesting topics.
And today we're tackling something you brought to us, an article from Rappler from their Good Business column.
Oh, this one. Yeah. Island Harvest Farm's kaloob, a gift that keeps on giving. I found this one really intriguing.
Me too. There's something really special about how Island Harvest Farm seems to be doing things differently. You know, they're not just building a business, they're cultivating a community and creating real lasting change.
Right. And that goes way beyond just making a profit. They're really focused on making a positive impact.
So in this deep dive, we want to explore how they're doing that. What are the values, the strategies behind their success? What's making this model so effective?
It's a great question. And the article gives us a fantastic starting point by introducing us to the two people at the heart of it all. Donna and Lenlie, the founders of Island Harvest Farm.
Okay, so Donna and Lenlie, what can you tell us about them? Where did they come from?
Well, their backgrounds are actually pretty different. The article talks about how Donna went through some really tough times early on, being a young mother facing hardship. But she persevered and ultimately became successful.
It sounds like that experience had a profound impact on her.
Absolutely. It seems to have instilled in her this deep sense of wanting to give back, to help others who might be struggling.
That makes a lot of sense. And what about Lenlie? What was his journey like?
Lenlie's story is rooted in his connection to the land. He's a fourth-generation Marinduqueño, so his ties to the island run deep. And he had this strong desire to contribute, to make a difference in his community.
But maybe not through the usual paths.
Exactly. The article mentions how he felt that traditional routes, like politics, weren't the right fit for him. He was looking for a different way to give back.
It's interesting how both Donna and Lenlie, despite their different backgrounds, shared this core desire to serve.
Right. The article talks about this beautiful concept of loob, which basically translates to inner self. And it suggests that both Donna and Lenlie carried these unanswered questions, these yearnings within them. It was their loob calling out.
Almost like a shared calling.
And then, when they met, something clicked. Their individual loobs connected, and the shared desire to serve became the foundation for their collaboration.
You know, it's powerful how the article emphasizes that the farm wouldn't exist without both of them.
Exactly. The vision for Island Harvest Farm came from that synergy, from their combined loobs, their unique experiences and perspectives.
Their strengths complement each other. It makes you realize how crucial collaboration can be. Okay, so this shared vision led them to create this really interesting operating model, the Panalo sa Tatlo model. What exactly does that mean?
Panalo sa Tatlo translates to everyone wins with three. And it's all about these three core pillars. The first pillar is agriculture. But they're not just focused on any crops. They're specifically helping farmers cultivate high-value crops.
So things that can bring in more income for the farmers. Makes sense.
Exactly. The article mentions coconut, cacao, and abaca as examples. These crops have the potential to generate much higher profits than traditional ones.
Okay, so that's the first pillar. What about the second?
The second pillar is technology. And here's where it gets even smarter. Island Harvest Farm isn't just about growing the raw materials, it's about processing them locally and adding value.
So they're not just exporting raw cacao beans, they're turning them into something more.
Right. They have processing centers where they transform the cacao beans into high-quality chocolate, and they're also processing abaca. It's about capturing more of the value chain within the community.
Smart move. It keeps the profits local and helps to build up the local economy. And what's the third piece of this Panalo sa Tatlo model?
The third pillar is community tourism. They open their farms to penahins, which means guests or visitors.
So people can experience life on the farm firsthand.
Exactly. And that creates a whole new income stream for the community, boosting their financial stability even further.
So it's this integrated, three-pronged approach. High-value agriculture, local processing, and community tourism. And everyone benefits. It really does live up to the name Panalo sa Tatlo.
I was struck by something the article mentioned about Donna's belief. She feels that this model was divinely inspired. Like she didn't just come up with it, but rather it was revealed to her.
Wow. That adds another layer to this whole story, doesn't it? Okay, so we've talked about the founders, the model, But what about the real-world impact?
Well, that's where the article really gets you. It shares some incredibly powerful personal stories that show how Panalo sa Tatlo is changing lives. One that stood out to me was Tilet's story.
Tilet, yes, tell me about her.
Tilet's story really resonated with me. Before Island Harvest Farm, she had to travel far to work on her land. And even then, the income wasn't steady, always a worry. The article even mentions how she prayed for things to change.
She was looking for a way out, a way to improve her life.
Yeah. And then Island Harvest Farm came along. She started by grafting cacao seedlings and then became the head cook at the farm's restaurant. There's this quote from her that really gets to me. She said, "Before, I never thought I would have a job close to home, but when Ma'am Donna came, that's when I saw the opportunities. Until now, I'm happy with what I've learned and my work here."
That's so powerful. You can feel the relief and the sense of hope in her words.
Yeah.
It's not just a job, it's a chance for a better future.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. The article goes on to explain how Tilet became more than just the head cook. Now, she's also the vice chairperson of the Marinduque Cooperative and a co-owner of Babanahan.
Wow, so she's really taken ownership and stepped into a leadership role.
Exactly. And that's what's so brilliant about this model. It's not just about providing jobs. It's about empowering people to grow and become leaders in their own communities.
It creates a cycle of positive change.
Absolutely. And another story that highlights the community-wide impact is Aida Ramos's story. Before Island Harvest Farm, her community relied heavily on copra farming.
Copra farming, that's...
The dried coconut meat, right. But the income from copra was sporadic and unreliable, often coming only every few months. And even then, it was barely enough to make ends meet.
Very difficult way to live. Always on the edge of hardship.
The article mentions how in 2014, Aida's income from copra was just enough to get by day to day, with long stretches of waiting for the next payout.
Living paycheck to paycheck, essentially. But the paychecks are months apart.
Yeah. But now, with the year-round work at Island Harvest Farm, through cocoa and coconut farming, their lives have transformed. They have financial stability and a sense of security they never had before.
Such a powerful contrast, isn't it? And Aida, just like Tilet, is also a co-owner of Babanahan and a member of a cooperative where she can sell her produce.
Sure.
Again, it's that ripple effect of empowerment. Okay, but we've been talking a lot about the present. What about the future?
That's a great point. And the article addresses this head-on with the concept of Gabayanihan, which is all about involving the next generation. Donna poses a really important question. And how can you create progress when the brightest minds and the youngest minds are leaving?
If the young people don't see a future in their community, they'll leave.
Exactly. And that can really hinder long-term growth and development. But Island Harvest Farm is actively engaging the younger generation, the children of folks like Tilet and Aida, through this Gabayanihan initiative.
Oh, that's wonderful. How are they involved?
The article mentions they're doing all sorts of things, hosting visitors, leading farm tours, and even getting involved in farm management. They're being given real responsibilities and a chance to learn and grow.
They're seeing that they can build a future right there in their community without having to move away.
It's about creating that sense of hope and opportunity that will keep the community thriving for generations to come.
So Island Harvest Farm is really addressing sustainability on multiple levels: economic, social, and even intergenerational.
It's impressive, right? And the article takes it a step further by delving into these deeper philosophical ideas of kaloob and kapwa. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about those.
Sure. Kaloob essentially means gift. And what the article is saying is that Island Harvest Farm is more than just a business. It's an offering, a gift of possibility. It's a gift that extends to the whole community.
Like a gift that keeps on giving.
Precisely. And that gift can only thrive with kapwa, which essentially means others. It's the community, the people coming together, participating, believing in the vision that makes it all work.
It highlights that essential interconnectedness.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful cycle. You have individuals sharing their loob, their good intentions and talents, and that gets transformed into collective action and positive change through kapwa, the community.
We're seeing that play out in the stories of individuals, right? Like the mother who's now leading a cooperative, the young farmer who's discovering his potential, the entire community working together.
Such a potent example of transformation.
Speaking of which, the article briefly mentions some research that's being done around Island Harvest Farm.
Oh, yes. A team of researchers, Pachare, Alexa Avery, Melka Antipolo, Hannah Sharme Prado, and Sharky Roxas, are looking into how Filipino values and the farm's dynamic approach are contributing to its success in achieving social sustainability. It's great to see academics taking an interest in this kind of model.
It really speaks to the potential for this to be replicated and studied further.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what do you think are the biggest takeaways for our listeners?
Well, Island Harvest Farm really flips the script on what a business can be. It shows us that profit and positive impact can go hand in hand.
Absolutely. And the Panalo sa Tatlo approach demonstrates that by focusing on high-value agriculture, local processing, and community tourism, everyone benefits.
It's a reminder that business can be a powerful force for good, especially when it's rooted in strong values like those embodied by kaloob and kapwa.
The concepts of gift-giving and community empowerment are at the heart of Island Harvest Farm's success. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if more businesses adopted a similar approach?
It's a compelling thought. What kind of world could we create if gift-giving and community upliftment became core principles for businesses? What if we all focused on creating win-win-win situations?
Food for thought, for sure. That's what we're all about here on AI-deas, exploring these ideas and inspiring positive change. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Island Harvest Farm.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time.
Take care.